In a secret facility, the group led by archaeologist Harvey Sullivan awaits the delivery of a very valuable shipment. Brought by sea on a cargo ship, the box is flown by helicopter to the site and left in the middle of the countryside. Harvey, together with his consultant, Dr. Slater, sends his security team to check the condition of the goods. When they look through the opening, they see a couple of huge birds, which begin to wiggle fiercely inside the box. To calm them down, one of the shooters, Dale, fires tranquilizer darts, knocking the birds unconscious. Believing that the danger has passed, Harvey orders the box to be opened and the birds taken to his property, but as he does so, the security guard notices that one of them has moved its eyes. With no time to react, the guy is attacked in the neck and Dale, along with the rest of the team, do their best to secure the birds back in the box. 6 months later, bird expert Keith Stern travels to the state of Texas in search of a rare species of eagle. After refueling his Jeep at a gas station, he sets off to explore nature, without suspecting that giant birds are inhabiting the area. As soon as he arrives at a cabin, he leaves his luggage and heads into the forest, recording the animals he encounters with his camera. At the same time, his daughter Maddie tries to call her father, worried that he hasn't heard from her in days. However, Keith doesn't answer the call and continues searching for the birds when he comes across a section of the forest protected by electric fences. Despite the safety sign, Keith throws his backpack over the fence and jumps from one tree to the other. Little does he know that the property belongs to Harvey Sullivan and he's been keeping a couple of giant birds wandering around. Keith continues to explore the forest when he finds the skull of an animal, which appears to have been devoured by an unknown predator. The explorer finds this suspicious and immediately hears a loud roar and goes to check where it's coming from. Meanwhile, Harvey goes to the lab to talk to Dr. Slater about the progress of his research. Apparently, he has found these prehistoric birds on a desert island and is cultivating the eggs in the hope of preserving their species. However, the doctor warns that the chicks are perishing because the eggs have been contaminated by bacteria. Due to the isolation of the birds on this island, the chicks' bodies have no immunity to the bacteria in the soil and it is likely that none of them will survive. Harvey is furious and tells the doctor to find a solution, as he has already spent enough time and money completing her project. Nearby, Dale and his colleague Russell are collecting a delivery for their boss when they hear someone shouting. On the other side of the electric fence, they see Keith running desperately with a wound on his shoulder, which looks like it was made by an animal's claw. The guy cries out for help and Dale tries to open the gate, but it's padlocked and the keys are with his boss. Dale then sends Russell to get the gun to destroy the lock, but it's too late and the bird knocks Keith to the ground and, with a single peck, rips his head off. After this tragedy, the two of them go to tell Harvey, who is furious with his men because of this security breach. To make matters worse, this isn't the first time something like this has happened and they need to think of a way to cover it up, and fast. Dr. Slater, however, is against the idea and says that the authorities need to be notified because an innocent person has been eliminated by the creatures. Harvey says he won't do that because if the government finds out about the prehistoric birds, they'll take them by force. He then sends his men to take Keith's body and simulate a road accident. The doctor continues to reject this idea until she finally quits her job and decides to leave. Harvey doesn't like this attitude, but tells his employees to prepare the car for the doctor to return home. After collecting all the luggage, she meets Dale, who hands her the key and tells her that she better reconsider her idea of leaving the project. Even so, she is determined and gets into the car, but when she tries to start it, it doesn't work. To the doctor's misfortune, Harvey sends Dale to sabotage the car and then releases his giant birds, which devour Dr. Slater in a matter of seconds. Far away, in a room at the university, Maddie keeps calling her father, but he doesn't return her calls. Worried that something may have happened, she decides to go after him, using the GPS tracker to locate Keith's cell phone. Her roommate Paige decides to go along, but first she invites her friend Brett and Justin, Maddie's ex-boyfriend. The young woman doesn't like the idea, but Paige did it because she knows that the two still have feelings for each other and hopes that this will be the couple's chance to make amends. Later, Brett shows up in his car to pick up the two friends, but in addition to him, Justin has come with his new girlfriend, Taylor. Paige soon realizes that the trip isn't going to be very pleasant, but decides to go anyway to find Maddie's father. After hours on the road, the group stops at a gas station and Taylor goes to the restroom, where she runs into a biker named Trent. The guy tries to hit on her, but she doesn't shy away and punches him in a very painful spot. Meanwhile, Maddie asks the gas station attendant if he knows Keith and he tells her that his father has a cabin in the woods in the area. During the conversation, Dale and Russell also arrive at the place to fill up the car and, upon hearing everything, the two realize that the girl is the daughter of the intruder, eliminated by the birds. The pair quickly go to warn Harvey, who orders his henchmen to get rid of Maddie and her friends if they approach the property. Minutes later, when everyone is leaving the station, Trent appears outside, still sore from the blow he received from Taylor. He doesn't intend to let it go and asks the attendant where they went, saying that the young woman had left her cell phone in the bathroom. The guy ends up believing the conversation and tells them that the group has taken the road east, with Trent hurrying to meet them. Later, the group finds the cabin and Maddie activates the GPS, indicating that her father is about 12 kilometers away. The group then sets off through the forest and, after a long walk, they stop to rest. At this point, Justin takes the opportunity to get closer to his ex-girlfriend and asks her why she left. Maddie wants to tell him the truth, but Taylor soon appears to interfere and she thinks it best to leave the couple alone. After resting, the group continues their journey when they come across a huge lake in the middle of the road. In one of the trees, Maddie finds her father's watch and, fearing the worst, says she'll cross the lake if she has to. Taylor refuses, but when she realizes that the rest of the group, including Justin, want to accompany her, she decides to go along. The five of them then cross the lake, but just as they are about to reach the other side, Taylor starts screaming, saying that something has grabbed her leg. Justin helps her out of the water, but when he looks closely, he realizes that the girl was afraid of a mere stick. After this embarrassing moment, the group continues walking through the forest, hoping that the rest of the journey will be more peaceful. Back at the cabin, Trent has just arrived on the scene, ready to pay Taylor back. While searching their car, he spots an iPod on the driver's seat and tries to steal it. However, when he tries to break the glass with a rock, it hits him straight in the head and he falls unconscious to the ground. Unsuspecting of what is happening in the cabin, the group continues their search for Keith when they find the same electric fence blocking their way. So as not to risk it, they turn around and look for another way out, until they find an entrance guarded by a security guard. Maddie asks for help, but the guy points a machine gun in her direction and warns her that they are trespassing on private property. Justin stands in front of the young woman and replies that they are only after Maddie's father, who has disappeared at the scene according to GPS tracking. The security guard then tells them to wait and warns Harvey, who sees an opportunity to settle the matter once and for all. He lets the group into the property and, after walking a long way, Maddie and the others find a gate that is more than 2 meters high. The young woman finds this suspicious, as the gate seems to have been built to prevent something huge from escaping. She thinks it best to go back, but the group is surprised when Taylor is hit by a tranquilizer dart. Soon after, Dale and Russell appear, armed with rifles, and start shooting at the young people, who try to run away but are knocked down by the tranquilizers. Minutes later, they are taken into the car, along with Trent, who was found near the cabin. When Trent wakes up, he hears the whole conversation between the henchmen and, when Russell opens the car door, the guy pushes him and tries to escape. Despite his best efforts, Dale easily knocks him down with another shot, knocking him unconscious once again. Shortly afterwards, the whole group wakes up in the middle of the forest, not knowing where they are or why they've been attacked. While exploring the place, Maddie sees footprints on the ground and believes them to be her father's, indicating that the group is still inside the property. In addition, they see another footprint in the mud, but this time it appears to be that of a huge, unknown creature. Fearing that they have been led into a trap, the group sets off in search of a way out, but the forest seems to have no end. They end up in a huge open field, which makes Trent more nervous, as they are easy targets in that place. Brett tells everyone to stay calm, but Trent becomes desperate and runs off alone into the trees. The rest of the group try to call him back, but he is confronted by one of the giant birds which, without hesitation, devours his head. Soon after, the second giant bird appears, frightening Paige, and she tries to run away alone, with the creature on her tail. Maddie wants to help her friend, but is forced to flee, along with Justin, Taylor, and Brett by another route. Meanwhile, Paige continues her escape until she hides under a fallen tree trunk. Suddenly, everything goes silent and she tries to see if the path is safe, but in a surprise attack, the bird pierces her head, giving Paige no chance to resist. With no idea what has happened to her, the rest of the group flees until they find a field with huge trees. They split into pairs, with Taylor and Brett climbing one of the trees and Justin managing to climb the other. But when it's Maddie's turn, the bird reappears and attacks her leg. Luckily, Justin manages to pull her up and the four of them wait until the bird gives up and leaves. Despite this, Maddie's wound is worse than she thought and Justin rushes to make a makeshift bandage. Taylor doesn't like seeing her boyfriend with her ex and tries to deflect the subject by asking what that creature was. Maddie believes that they are prehistoric birds called terror birds, also known as titanus. They are carnivorous birds that lived thousands of years ago and everyone believed them to be extinct. Faced with this threat, All the group can do is hang on for a while longer in the trees, until the way is clear for them to escape. However, one of the birds returns and knocks Paige's glasses off, revealing the girl's tragic fate. While mourning the perishment of their friend, Maddie and the others remain silent, hoping that the bird will leave as soon as possible. However, Taylor loses patience and begins to provoke the monster, which becomes furious and tries to climb the tree. Through the cameras, Harvey watches everything and orders his men to finish off the group before any more trouble arises. Dale and Russell obey the order and drive to the site, where they fire their rifles to scare the birds away. They then order the group down from the trees and surrender everyone in the middle of the field, waiting for the birds to finish the job. What they don't realize is that the two birds are coming from behind and, in a few seconds, they devour Russell's head. Dale despairs and runs away, giving Maddie and the rest of the group the chance to run to the car and escape into the forest. On the way, they come across a locked access gate, but fortunately, the keys were inside the vehicle. Justin then goes out to open the gate, but before he can close it, the birds start coming towards him once again. The group manages to lose them, but the car breaks down and they stop near a barn. Justin then searches for one of the keys to open the door, but none of them fit, and it's only a matter of time before the birds catch up with them. As they feared, the creatures appear on the scene, forcing Brett to grab an iron bar and face the monsters alone. He manages to land a blow, but the creature feels no pain and prepares to strike back. Just then, Dale also appears with his rifle, only to come face to face with the giant birds, one of which is heading straight for him. The other continues in front of the barn and Brett tries to attack it again, but the bird dodges and counterattacks with a peck on his neck. Before Brett can fall to the ground, the bird strikes a mortal blow, pecking directly at his heart. In another part of the forest, Dale runs as fast as he can to escape the terror bird, which is about to catch up with him. Ironically, the bird doesn't even touch him, as the man doesn't notice the electric fence in his way and runs into it, perishing from electrocution. Back at the barn, Justin finally finds the right key and the three of them manage to get inside, only to find Harvey pointing a gun at them. Despite this, Maddie accuses him of murdering her father and promises to report him to the authorities. However, he says that his aim was only to save an endangered species and help it populate the planet once again. Harvey also promises to resolve everything soon and will eliminate anyone who stands in his way. As soon as he finishes his speech, Maddie seizes the chance and pulls open the barn gate, letting the terror birds through. In desperation, Harvey shoots at the birds, but ends up missing the target and they advance towards him. He tries to calm the creatures down, but they knock him to the ground, pierce his belly with their beaks, and finish him off by devouring his head. While the birds continue with their meal, Justin tells the girls that they need to act quickly before they become the next targets. Taylor then suggests using Harvey's house phone to call for help, but Maddie doesn't believe they'll debar in time. However, Taylor decides to go anyway and rushes to Harvey's house. Thanks to this, Justin and Maddie hide inside the barn until they find Harvey's secret laboratory. There, they manage to lock the door and Justin finds a first aid kit, which he uses to treat Maddie's wound. While he's doing this, the young woman apologizes for putting everyone in that situation. Justin replies that it wasn't her fault and confesses that he's happy that they've met again and doesn't intend to let her walk away again. Even in a moment of crisis, the couple finally reconcile, but the moment is interrupted by the bird, which tries to invade the laboratory at any cost. In the meantime, Taylor finally finds Harvey's house, but to her misfortune, all the doors are locked. She is then forced to hide behind a tree and, fortunately, the bird gives up the search and leaves. However, it's too early to celebrate, because Taylor sees a hungry crocodile coming out of the water and the predator attacks her, mercilessly. Nearby, the delivery man is dropping off another load in front of Harvey's house, but as soon as he opens the back door of the car, the terror bird devours him. Now, Maddie and Justin are the only survivors and the young woman starts digging through the files on the two terror birds. According to Harvey's accounts, he found the birds on the Navassa and Caparral Islands which, due to their small size, had no inhabitants living on them. This allowed the prehistoric birds to remain alive in the territory and their existence was known only in legend. Eventually, Harvey used goats as bait to attract the birds and managed to capture them, taking them away to breed and then populate the planet once again. However, the plan went wrong and now the last couple of the species must be extinguished before they claim more victims. Maddie and Justin agree to do this and return to the place where Harvey's body is, in search of his weapon. At the same moment, one of the terror birds appears and, without thinking twice, Maddie unloads her pistol at the creature, which falls perished to the ground. Soon after, the second bird appears, but the gun is out of bullets and the couple are forced to flee. They go out the back door and run into another of Harvey's security guards. who asks where his boss is. Before he can find out the answer, the giant bird bursts through the wall and attacks the guy, devouring him completely. Natty and Justin take advantage of the monster's distraction and climb to the top of a warehouse, high enough that the bird can't reach them. Even so, they need to find a way to escape, and Justin screams at the bird, making it more agitated. He then comes up with the idea of recording its screams on his cell phone and letting it play on a loop, then throwing it as far away as possible. Justin does this, and, at first, the bird doesn't pay any attention, but it soon gets distracted by the sound of the cell phone and goes after it. Maddie and Justin run to Harvey's house and find the delivery man's body next to his car. They then get into the vehicle, but don't find the keys, and Justin goes out to look in the victim's pockets. He doesn't find it, and the bird soon returns, forcing him and Maddie to lock themselves in the car. Even so, the terror bird manages to break through the glass with its force, but the impact knocks over the keys, which were on top of the sun visor. Without wasting any time, Justin accelerates the car towards the exit, but it is blocked by a sturdy gate. The two are forced to stop and look for something useful inside the car. Among the packages, Natty finds a box full of explosives, and Justin has an idea. Seconds later, the giant bird appears, and Justin quickly opens the rear doors of the car, provoking the creature into attacking him. The monster takes the bait, and as soon as it launches its attack, Natty lights the fuse of the dynamite, and she and Justin escape from the vehicle. They then close the rear doors and leave the bird trapped inside, which is hit hard by the explosion and destroyed into 1,000 pieces. Finally, the couple are free of the monster that eliminated their friends, and Justin kisses Maddie, thus rekindling their relationship. Little do they know that, in another part of the forest, an egg has just hatched, revealing a baby terror bird hungry for human flesh.